Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I'm your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. And I did this for 10:15, but I noticed a friend of mine was going to have a live stream on Mr. Milky Way Weekly at 10 o'clock, and I thought, well, I'm going to squeeze this in. But anyway, I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator, and I continue to pray for each and every one of you and for the planet, and that each and every one of you will accept and receive the healing, the knowledge, and the wisdom from the universe. Now, with that said, this has been on my brain for a while, and I've kind of brought it up in other videos that I've done, but kind of interwoven in other kind of shamanic speech or so forth. And I was kind of instructed today by my own spirit guide, and it was like, Hawkeye, you need to go ahead and talk about this, even just for a couple of brief minutes. And there are several channels. I mean, I've subscribed, I don't know, like 100 and some odd channels. I don't know, a lot of them. And I'm always looking through the news headlines and so forth to see what's going on. And many pastors and folks and people who are, talk about, the ascension and all this other kind of stuff. And, and it's all great and wonderful, but they keep, well, the rapture's coming. Well, then the date passes, and it's coming again, and then it passes. And the rapture's coming some more, and then it passes. And I'm like, and what gets me is that people are still listening to this, and they go, well, wait a minute, but after the first time I go, okay, so you got the date wrong. Second time, all right, so the rapture passed us by. What about this third time? And what about the fourth, the fifth, and the 10th time? You've told me that the rapture was coming and now it's past us. Now, I'm not trying to degrade anybody. My point is that if you tell me it's going to come and it hasn't, or there's no signs to anyone on this planet so far, that maybe, whatever is in your brain, maybe the rapture is something other than what you think it is. And maybe it has come several times and you have ignored it. Maybe the rapture is a fabrication of what you think it may be and not what it actually is. Now, for example, in other cultures, you want to reach with meditation and so forth. You want to reach a state of nirvana. You want to go Om, and you want to reach that inner peace. Well, to a shaman's belief, the more that you achieve inner peace, the closer you are to the rapture, which is understanding what internal peace is all about, what nirvana is, what peace of mind is, and in so many ways, I listen to these different preachers and I'm like, okay, but you keep repeating the same thing. You're not telling me anything new. But the thing is that I quite frankly believe, and my spirit guides are telling me that guy just had a rapture. He just didn't know it. A rapturous moment can be one of extreme enlightenment. I did a video a couple of weeks ago of when I went out onto the middle of the lake in the middle of the night. Spirit directed me out there. I saw the universe, and it was a spiritual experience. And I shared it on YouTube to share the experience with other people. And that in my hindsight of that event, I know that it was a rapturous event. I still just close my eyes and I can feel myself being drawn up into the universe and feeling and seeing and understanding the universe all at one just tiny instant. And I think to myself, Hawkeye, that was rapture. I was taken up in spirit. I was taken into the heavens. And was it by a God or was it Jesus? Did I die? There are all these Christian trappings that are attached to a rapturous moment. So in my belief, in the shamans that I have met, rapture comes in stages. Rapture number one, you become aware of all things natural. Rapture number two, you understand the importance of water. Rapture number 3, you understand that the sky, what's above us is so below us. The minute, I did a video on the macro versus the micro. Things that are we can barely see repeat itself in the skies above us. So in a lot of instances, there are people who say, well, but the rapture is when Jesus comes down on a cloud and then he takes us all up it. But wait a minute, just hang on a second. Let's just stop with this. What if Jesus or the Savior, whomever, has come in on the cloud? Don't they call the cloud, the memory up there on as far as the quantum computer? When you save something, don't you save it up to the cloud? Well, what if the word of Jesus came from the cloud, if you will, and into certain people's lives? I myself, I keep a Bible nearby. I've talked about it in other videos myself, and how in my reading the Bible, I understood Jesus better. I understood the Holy Spirit better. I understood my own spirituality better by reading the Bible. Now, I did extensive research into old text and not a current version of the Catholic Bible, nor of the King James Version, which ain't his version anyway. But to the point, though, that I started researching and understanding different things. And a pastor said the other day in one of his little things, Jesus mentioned the rapture, therefore it must exist. But hang on. But nobody's really actually sure if Jesus said that. They didn't have tape recorders. People recalled it years later and wrote it down. Now, we have to keep this in our brain. Did Jesus actually say those specific words, or did somebody interpret them to be? So the same person said, well, I went back into the Greek and he said this and this and what his interpretation, this pastor, was that it meant rapture. Now, okay, fine. Let's take Jesus, let's take the Christians, let's take religion out of this. And let's just say, from a natural point of view, one human being to another, could we have a rapturous moment without religion? Could we understand the universe and the Creator and God, and could we have our own rapturous moment without a religion? And I say yes, because people have them all the time. And you say, well, thank you, Jesus. Well, but it's almost like an afterthought. In that, well, I had this, oh my God, they were so pure, and it was and they describe it, and they go, and thank you, Jesus, for that wonderful opportunity. Well, wasn't that a rapturous moment? They talk about how much it was so spiritual to them, but at the same point, they go, yeah, but that wasn't rapture. That's not what Jesus said, and it's not what the Bible said. But wait a minute, hang on. You just described the spiritual moment, and I'm listening to you, and I'm thinking, damn, you just had a rapturous moment there, dude, or dudette. But their response to that is, well, that's not the rapture. Jesus is going to come in on a cloud, and we're all going to be raptured. Okay. So what was that? Well, that was just a spiritual moment. Well, did you feel rapturous? Well, I don't know. I won't experience the rapture till Jesus comes and takes me into heaven. Okay, fine. As a shaman, you can have a deep meditation and have a rapturous moment because you understand and you feel with your spirit. You feel who you are, your insides, your outsides, your aura, your karma, that you understand the big and the little all at the same instant. And it's rapturous. And it's like, well, but listen, I saw God when I was out on the lake 2 weeks ago and felt lifted up. Did I see the face of God? Well, in my book, Creator is all things. So the face of God was the universe. The face of God was the middle of our galaxy. Oh my God, look at all this stuff. And that was a rapturous moment for me. I still, like I just said a few minutes ago, I can still close my eyes and just picture that and just boom, I can immediately feel this little jolt of energy that is associated with that rapturous moment that I had on the lake. So I think, in my opinion, now, this isn't about me. I'm using my own experience rather than someone else's, in that I see other people and they are having, in my opinion, a rapturous moment, but they refuse to acknowledge it as such. So in my shaman's book of basics, anytime that you connect in such a spiritual way that it lifts your spirits, it lifts your heart, your soul, your consciousness, it wakes you up, shakes you up, whatever it does, that is rapture. That is a rapturous moment. And for every one of those moments, it leads to the grand rapture, if you will, not Grand Rapids. But, and my meaning of that is that the grand rapture is our transition into another reality. When I leave this body, I will fully understand what that rapture means, the complete rapture, because I've had all of these smaller rapturous moments in my lifetime. I have sought them. I have meditated. I have prayed. I go into the wilderness to do exactly that, to be close to nature, to allow the natural spirits and the cosmos and the energy and the earth energies and all of that stuff, all the shaman basics that I've spoke about before, to come into me, to give me these rapturous moments. I spent 6 hours on the river yesterday paddling, and I mean, in some places really hard, cutting my way through and doing some things. And at 66 going on 67, I'm like, I should be dead tired. Now I'm sore. I'm walking a little slow today, but I know people half my age that couldn't have made it as far as I went, let alone turn around and come back. But to the point, it's all in your brain. The more I allowed nature to be a part of me, when I allow the nature and the water, and when I become a part of nature and the water, then I lose all sense of myself. Yeah, I get tired. Yeah, I got to slow down. Yeah, I got to pull over to the bank. But the thing is that as I allow myself to be raptured by nature itself, every time I go out into the wilderness, kayaking or whatever, I have a rapturous moment or two. There are sometimes you come around a curve and it may have been, I don't know, 10, 20 years before anybody has seen that particular spot of the river because of the trees and things. Who knows? But the thing is that I'm one of the few people who have seen the parts of the river. I'm one of the few people that see the wildlife there because it's so inaccessible. Not that no one can, it's just hard to get to. That's all. And I'm a crazy old fool, and I'm going to keep going. I want to see what's around the next bend. And then it's hard. It's hard for me to get back. But anyway, that's my point. That's my problem. I want to say hi to Bob, the AI. Thank you, Bob. Here's coffee. And but I look around me in the natural world, and I see other people who are seeking spirituality. And there are some times when there's a spiritual moment that literally just slaps them in the face. But for whatever their ingrained illusions are, I see it. I watch them and go, dude, you should pay attention to that. Well, it was just like, no. You need to go back to that. And I'm telling these people, I'm screaming at the YouTube video going, dude, man, you need to go back. You need to, that was a rapture moment for you. And then later on, it's like, that moment didn't even matter. It was like, well, it happened, but then they have short-term memory and they forget it. And it's like, but man, I thought it was cool. I remembered your story, but you don't. It affected me, but it didn't you. And it's like, which one, who's paying more attention here? The observer to your YouTube videos or to your challenges or your raptures, whatever, or yourself, Are you paying attention to the fact that, OMG, Maybe the rapture is happening right now, but you're too blind to see it. You're talking all about the rapture, but you're not, and it's staring at you right in the face. There is spiritual awareness, there is natural awareness. There are all these things that are, excuse me, always present, but no one stops to recognize them. As a shaman, the basics are you recognize all these things before you recognize yourself. I'm included with all things natural, because I am made mostly of natural materials. But the idea, though, I must first think of myself. No, the first thing I must do as a shaman is think about the universe, think about everything, and to think about I am a grain of sand, but without grains of sand, there would be no beach. So I'm a son of a beach. I'm a sunny beach. But to the point, though, that for every one of us, yeah, but if we took all those grains of sand out, or, chained them into rock, it wouldn't be the same. So my point to this is that we may not see what our particular role is in this, in the grand scheme of the universe. We can all say, absolutely, I may not know what my role is, but because I am here, I am a being, I must therefore be a part of it, whether you choose to believe it or not. Because we are here, then therefore we are a part of this. And the more you just stop and go, hang on, I am a part of this. Now, I'm not sure, and I'm, depending on who you are as to how much you want to understand about this kind of thing. But the thing is that I think there are a lot of people out there who are seeing the rapture. They're having religious experiences, spiritual awakenings, taking the red pill, if you will. These are, when you wake up to certain things, you can't go back to sleep. You just can't say, well, I just, 9/11 didn't happen, and that was just all a dream, or whatever it may be. That was a poor example, but the idea, though, that you yourself, we are a part of this universe, and accept that you are a part of it. Except, like for me, I want a peaceful universe. I pray for peace and health and well-being, and for the universe, and I wish these things to take place. How much they take place doesn't matter. What matters is that my intent is always there. I'm praying for folks. I'm hoping for the best, and this is what's important. So my rapturous moments, I know I've had them, and I know it has brought me closer to the Creator, closer to the universe, closer to the face of God, if you will, simply because I paid attention. Now, does that make me so special? No, it doesn't. I'm just some old freaking hippie down here in the swamp trying to tell you all that there are other ways to see this. There are other ways to look at this. The rapture is only going to come when you die. The rapture can only happen if Jesus comes in on a cloud. What if Jesus comes in on a flying saucer? What if Jesus comes in on a Toyota? What if Jesus, and I'm not trying to be, non-religious or heretical about this. I'm just saying, what if that cloud is the cloud that's already out there that attaches all of our computers? What if the cloud is the message of the word of the Lord? What if my conversation with you helps you to understand you may have rapture type events in your life and you haven't noticed them? Maybe the Creator, maybe your God, maybe whatever that you believe in has given you rapturous moments. And what you may need to do is go back and reflect on the moments the Creator has already given you. And also to pay attention that you may have rapturous moments in the future. What's to say? The rapture is only one event. It's a single event with only Jesus and the cloud. Stop and think about this. Creator, God, Jesus, the world, love. There are more moments of rapture than many people will ever even begin to acknowledge. I would pray that each and every one of you will continue to look at your life, and there are rapturous moments around every corner, especially when we allow ourselves to see them. So I am your humble host. I know there's someone else that's already on this evening. Brian of Milky Way has a person on, and I didn't want to get into the time schedule, so I'm going to shut this down now. But I've said my piece, and I would really like for you all to look at your lives and stop and think, is this rapture event a singular event, or is Creator giving me raptures all the time? And hey, Cherry, how are you? And that the more that you feel, see, and understand that the Creator gives you these moments, and it may be just in one moment. Oh my God, I realized something, blah. That could be a rapture event. Um, could you understand that a birth of the neighbor's baby who was having trouble during her pregnancy or something was being an issue, and that the baby came out healthy, and that the mama was, and then there was this rapturous moment that your friend and the kid and the mama, everybody was safe. Everybody came through the birth and through the issues with flying colors. Isn't that a rapturous moment? Don't you feel your heart is lifted and the love and this, oh my, thank God, that everything's okay and the mama's, isn't that a rapturous moment? Surviving a bad car accident or something or whatever. And I mean, I've been in a couple of really bad accidents that weren't my problem. And the fact that I can still walk and talk and, well, sort of chew bubble gum is, hey, we can heal. That's one of the things I try to tell folks. At my age and with all the crap I've been through, I just paddled 5 miles yesterday upstream and floated back down that same 5 miles. But to the point, though, I know folks half my age that can't keep up with me. And it's because of my intent. I want to paddle. I want to feel better. I want to exercise, and I don't have to go to some stupid gym in an air conditioning building to do it with. I do it outside of nature so that I can get the 100% of what's going on, But anyway, but that's my point of view. But the thing is that being on the river, coming around this curve and seeing all these ancient trees, and the water and the thing is like, that was a rapture moment. And I had several of them yesterday. But there was this blink where I just stopped paddling and sat there and went, man, this is so great. And so very few people will paddle this far upstream to see what I'm looking at. They're too lazy. Well, there's a log. I better go back. And they don't see the rest of the beauty of the swamp or whatever, and some of the areas are like, nothing to write home about. But there are some spots on the river, and if I didn't put forth the effort, I wouldn't have seen these really special little half-mile, three-quarter-mile spots on the river. And for every time I see one of these, and I get this little shiver of from the universe, that, oh my God, that's another rapture moment. That's another chink in Hawkeye's spiritual. Excuse me. Got a cough today for some reason. And it can't be from smoking too much. I was on the river yesterday and only smoked 2 cigarettes the whole 5-6 hours I was gone. That's a good one. And I did a lot for my lungs. But my point to all of this really is that I know not everybody can have the opportunity to go out in nature. But go to your local park. Connect with the grass. Connect with the dirt. I've said this before. Please go put your feet in some water somewhere. And as clean as possible. Preferably a stream or a river, but a lake or the ocean, anything. And it's that, listen here. You can be connected. You can have these rapture moments all the time. I don't think that God just said, well, we're only going to rapture you one time. That's it. That's all. We're not going to get nothing else spiritual is going to happen. You're just going to have to sit like a rock through the rest of your life and wait for Jesus to come swoop down on the cloud and give us all the rapture. And if you're not, if you're not part of the 144,000, you ain't going. And well, okay. Or whatever the idea is on that. And as a shaman with basic training and understanding, allow the universe to come into your soul, which is God, which is the rapture. And when the big one comes, and like I say, what if Jesus is already in the cloud? What if his speech comes through the AI, through other people? Maybe even my speech is trying to back up. I know Mother Mary, she tells me, tell these folks, Jesus ain't all about some of this crap that they preach about. Jesus was a lot more basic. He was a Buddhist. My talks with Sister Elaine at Tampa Catholic in 1970 and 71. She told me Jesus was a Buddhist. He disappeared and went and studied, Eastern religions, and then came back and translated it, but oh my God, did anybody ever mention the fact that he went and studied, Eastern religions versus Western religions, which were, Pamela, good to see you. That all these moments are rapturous moments. Do we decide that we're going to have them? Do we, you hear me say, repeat the prayer, accept and receive the healings, the wisdom, and the knowledge from the universe. You have to understand that that's always there, right? That's one of the shaman basics. That information's there. As you meditate, as you pray, as you get close to nature, as whatever it is that you do, that you understand these things. These are rapture moments. These are moments in your life that add up to the big picture. And they're out there every single moment, day, week, month. But if you choose not to look for them, well, they ain't gonna be there. And because you'll be so blinded by everything else. Guns going off. Strange for this time of night in my neighborhood. Anyway, but people with their heads in their phones, and you know the drill. I don't have to go into any of that. But the idea, though, that the blessings are all around them, but they can't see them. So if the rapture were here or were to come and bite them in the butt, as it were, would they know it if they saw it? And even some of these pastors, online and otherwise, and now there's a couple I'm thinking of, and these guys are really looking for it. I mean, they're not trying to like hype it up. They're like, another rapture, and Jesus showed me something else, and it's all good stuff. But the thing is, it's all built up into a single event. So every time he brings up rapture in his title on his YouTube videos, I go, well, there he goes again. Now, but and my point to that is, he had another rapture moment. He had another communication with his own spirit that he's willing to share with his congregation and use the Bible to substantiate it. And he's telling people about the rapture. But he doesn't say, well, God told me. But what he just had was a rapture moment. God filled him. It gave him this thing. Isn't that a rapturous moment? Oh, well, wait a minute. What is rapture? Well, you're filled with the Holy Spirit, and well, then if you had a dream in daytime or nighttime, you had a vision, whatever, isn't that a rapturous moment? So I think some of these guys are they're looking too hard. They're looking for trees in the forest, but all they can see is the forest. But they know that there are trees in there, but there's a forest over there. I know there's a tree in it. Yeah, but it's a forest. How am I going to find a tree? They're all trees. But it's a forest. Right, I get it. So, but in this realization that there are blessings. Well, I had a good blessing today. Okay, but was that rapturous? If it was a blessing, wasn't it a blessing? For example, yesterday, I was in town after I got off the river, and I found $1 at the convenience store just laying out there on the parking lot. And I went, thank you, Jesus. Picked it up, stuck it in my pocket. Later on, I was asked if I wished to donate $1 to the homeless. And I said, here you go. Now, from one hand to another, but it's like I could have said no, could have kept the $1, could have been greedy and said no to the giving $1. And I thought, but Creator gave me $1 in the parking lot. Of course I'm going to give it. It just hadn't got to the right, it came to my hands to get to the other hand. Wait a minute. And in that one moment, I thought, well, that's kind of rapturous, ain't it? That's a blessing in disguise. Somebody dropped $1, I picked it up, and then gave it for the homeless and the needy. I would have gave $1 anyway, but my point was, they would only accept $1. It was part of this anyway. But to the point, local establishment collecting money for homeless and hungry folk, I'm all for it. But the idea that I got $1 to give the $1, I didn't get the $1 to keep it. To me, that was rapturous. I was like, this is cool. I picked it up and then I get to pass it on. I didn't need it, sweet. So, and maybe somebody else will eat because of that, So, but the idea though, was that a rapturous moment? Was that a spiritual moment? Did any of that have anything to do with anything, or was it simply coincidence? In my world as a shaman, there are no such coincidences, if you will. A lot of gunfire. Ain't supposed to be gunfire around here at night. Just saying. But it is Saturday night and redneck country, so who knows? I thought at first it might have been fireworks, but no, that was a gun. And they ran out of bullets. So 9 shots must have been anyway. But the idea of the rapture thing, to stay on topic, I think people are missing the boat in a lot of things. Stuff just goes right by them. And they're like, oh, but that was a forest. Yeah, but there are trees in the forest. Well, there's blessings in that, in what you see. Well, but I didn't see a blessing in there. Well, were you paying attention? Well, no, it was just an incident. And yeah, but don't you think that was kind of coincidentally interesting? Got $1, gave $1. I mean, so, but, oh, well, they just go on with their lives and don't give a shit about nothing except what's on their phone or what's in their belly or where they're going to next or whatever popular thing is. I was going through my YouTube thingy and just looking what's trending now. And oh my God, no wonder there's so many people that are sickeningly asleep with the stuff that's trending now. Now, don't get me wrong. I love you all subscribers to death. I do. But there's one lady who's talking about how she didn't like a certain kind of hair coloring. And she had 2.5 million views in one day. And I'm thinking, are 2.5 million people seriously worried about that hair color and why she didn't like it? No offense to the woman or what? They'll watch these crazy little kitty cats doing stupid things. And some of them is like, okay, the cat thing. I've been watching them for 25 years now. Okay. I've been on the internet since it came out, all right? And so people are trying to show me stuff, and I'm like, I saw that 10 years ago. No, it's brand new. I just saw it on this guy's. No, I can show you. It came out in 2007. But it's brand new. No, somebody's just rehashing it. And anyway, my point to this is that they think this stuff, this stuff is brand new. No, I'm sorry, old. Sorry, you haven't been paying attention. You have watched so many things on your booby-tubey thingy that you don't even remember what you watched. Well, I don't know. That kind of looks familiar, but you sent me that video 3 years ago in an email. I laughed at it the first time. I laughed at it the second time. And the third time you sent it, I went, nah, So when they ask me now, they say, well, why didn't you laugh at that? I laughed 10 years ago. Sorry, it's not funny anymore. It's a little humorous. Yeah. But listen here. So, but people will look at these things, and as I'm looking through what's trending now on YouTube, I look at this stuff and I think, my God, I just counted 30 million people who don't give a shit about their spirituality. It's all about fashion. It's all about, there's some Korean guy that's like, he shows how to do hairdos. He's got 3.5 million viewers. 3.5 million people watch this guy part his hair and comb it. I'm just asking, but that's what's going on. And he uses a hair gel and he does it like this one. He's Korean. But that's not my point. Good for them. But what's something that's really important about their spirituality, their overall better wholeness and well-being in the universe, going to watch a video about a cat talking to down to a dog, and about hair products for men, and how to part your hair with them. More important than anything else. That's what's trending now. And I mean, I was like, oh, come on, show me something else. No, go down the list, show me more, go down the list. And I'm like, nothing even anywhere remotely, anywhere even close to like just being natural. I mean, like outside or something. No, it was also superficial or wang dang. I just, you're kidding me. Okie dokie. We'll go to church on Sunday for an hour, and the rest of the time is my time. So my point to this is that, yeah, but how many miracles can you see when that's where your attention is? How much can you understand about the universe if that's what your universe is? Watching somebody part their hair, or bitching about it, they didn't like a particular hair color product or something, and about, how to be poised and natural. What? I watched this. I could only watch like a minute of it, and then I was like, oh man. But it was like, this one was like, how seriously, how to be poised and natural. And she goes and freezes, and I went, wait a minute, that's poised and natural? And she goes, ladies, this is how you must look. And I was like, oh my God. And she went on for 10 minutes about how to look poised and natural. You're already natural. And why should you pose? Oh, she said poised. Oh, it's supposed to be your frame of mind. She posed. And that's how everybody else is. 10 minutes. And I was like, and 2.5, 3 million views, not subscribers, views. And I'm like, can't you pay attention to anything other than that? What about those 3.5 million people that spent that 10 minutes? I could only go through a minute of it. But the women who must have thought, well, I'm going to copy this lady. I'm going to stick my chest out, and I'm going to turn just a little bit and cock my head, and I'm going to look poised and natural. No, you're going to like a freaking idiot. But that's my personal point of view about that. I would rather see you, quote, naturally, just be yourself. How about? So people are putting on airs, people are watching other people on how to part your hair, but is anybody paying attention to the rapturous blessings that happen to them every day? I keep hoping. I keep praying. And I know there are people waking up every day to a little bit more of this and a little bit more of that. But when you go through what's trending on YouTube and find out how many millions of people are scuttlebutting their souls for some kind of worthless something that, I mean, I watch videos on things, but I'm watching videos on like how to fix my kayak, or, the best way to do a something. And, I know you folks watch my videos, and I thank you very much, because I'm trying to show you a different point of view. And let's pay attention to this. So my closing remarks on this particular subject, let me find my glasses so I can read your remarks going by. But, I look at other stuff too, and I'm not saying that you can't watch somebody part their hair, but to the tune of this person gets 3.5 million views a day, and all they talk about is parting their hair. There's 3.5 million people that watch this guy part his hair every single day, and they're like, but what else are they doing? I mean, are they just, he doesn't have any words of wisdom or anything. I mean, I'm like, and I'm not going to watch, 2 years of him parting his hair to see if he said anything important. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm parting my hair. Okie dokie. He was not comfortable in town and left because I was told not to be there. Yeah, I wasn't comfortable in town 40 years ago, so I get that. Let me come back up here with this, and thank you back, Pamela. Yeah, Jesus frequency seems to be quite prevalent today. I would agree on that. Terry says you miss that feel good feeling. Visions are scary sometimes. Um, some visions are scary, and we have to take the good with the bad sometimes. But sometimes that pizza crust comes out a little too hard. Uh, Pamela says 900 miles from the border, but have many friends who have either have built parts of the wall or work for the border patrol and make videos of illegals breaking our laws all the time. Yeah, I got thrown in jail for marijuana, and these guys cross into our country and they're given, anyway. You're right, Cherry. People up north have no idea of what goes on at the border. I absolutely 100% agree. Um, Pamela says they will soon understand because 178,000 have crossed since October. Yes, and people are not connected to the forest. Agree. Sherry says, I wish for people to care for each other more once again. I agree with that, Cherry. Absolutely. That's why I keep, doing little videos and praying and trying to reach out to folks. I keep making the comment, come to South Georgia or come nearby. Let's go hit a river somewhere. I've got all the accoutrements, camping gear stuff, bring your own food and your own stuffy, but I got the rest of it. Anyway, Pamela says, I refuse to be run out of anywhere I'm supposed to be for a reason. As a dear friend said only yesterday, it is what it is. Yeah. Uh, Wait, this poor thing is skipping around on me, trying to keep up. Come on now. I'm glad you have support in our deal. I don't feel I belong any place. Thought I might and a roof over my head, but a lost soul. I don't understand how some keep their big audiences. Yeah, I agree with that. But I think it's not about the audiences. It's about the subject. There are 3.5 million guys, or maybe girls, or transgender, who knows, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, but that seem that it's important that they know how to part their hair. I mean, okie dokie, if you got a good job, you want to look nice and all, there's nothing wrong with that. But every day, 3.5 million people watch this guy part his hair. I mean, holy crap. I'm wishing the guy that's got this many people would say something profound once a day, like, oh, quote somebody, you know what I mean? And anything. But it also goes to the point that there's 3.5 million people who think that that's what's most important. That's what's scary. It's not the person who has the viewers. It's the fact that there are 3.5 million viewers who have that as their top idea for the day. Whatever they're thinking of. And I think to myself, that's what's scary. 3.5 million people have to go watch this guy every day. And okie dokie, I'm not in that realm, but you know what I mean? So, not to try to blow smoke, but wow, all righty, okie dokie, there we go. But all these people, now I know that's worldwide. That's not just in America, because I think this gentleman, and I'm not trying to put anybody down. I swear I'm not. But I think he was Korean. So, there's a lot of Korean guys. And, who am I to say that, what's, person. Yeah, look at my hair. Now I have brushed my hair today, I've got to say. And, now I did try to shave earlier, but I didn't change the razor blade out. But to the point, though, I live by myself in the swamp, and I wasn't really planning on doing a video today. But anyway, and I'm not doing it on hygiene. So anyway, idea, though, that it is important. But and I got off on this subject because what's important is that when people are so involved with these other things, they can't see the rapture moments that may be happening to them on a continuous basis every single day. That's more to my point. These folks are looking at these other things and their attention is elsewhere when maybe one of those rapture moments was staring at them right in the face. Or it could have happened if they didn't have their nose watching the same guy every single day part his hair. Just saying, um, maybe they get, I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. That's not my point. But if those 3.5 million people, did they lose something because well, I got to go home and watch Wong comb his hair, or um, and Wong did it Wong. Bad joke, bad humor. Um, I continue to pray that folks will continue to look for spiritual things in their everyday life, small things that just unnoticed. But when you start noticing these small things, they start adding up into big things. And as a shaman, you don't start out at the end. You have to walk the road. You have to pick things along the way. You have to learn things along the red road as you're headed towards being a shaman. That's the basics. Pay attention to the world around you. Pay attention to, and not just globally, but I mean literally on the road. What's in the road? What are the plants on the side of the road? Are there bear tracks, or are there lion tracks? Or is there an elephant nearby? I mean, there are things to pay attention about. But so I'm hoping and praying that everybody will continue to open their eyes to things out there, that it's not just these superficial things. And sometimes things can be learned with superficial things. I just learned today how many superficial people there are out there that watch these 4 or 5 channels on poisoning, on how to part your hair. I'm just saying, personal grooming. I knew a lady who gave seminars and how women should prepare for the workplace. I thought it was kind of stupid, but it gave women who had not a clue of how to act, chewing gum and, popping, whatever, at least an idea of how to, quote, become a more professional in the workplace. So I see value in it. It's not about that. But what did they miss in the process? 3.5 million people a day. Just saying. I'm hoping they're paying attention to other things around them. And I will continue to pray for these folks. Let me see what you guys cut up. Hypnotized zombies need love too. Absolutely, Pamela. And I keep praying. Praying they accidentally find our channel, Sockeye. Miracles happen. I had a new subscriber yesterday. In fact, anyway, but yeah, wow. For every one person that I can have a conversation with, to just put a little bit of something else in your brain. That's what I'm here for. Like and share. You very seldom hear me say anything about that. I agree. I don't know how some have such a busy channel. I know. It's just outrageous. Cherry, I've stood toe to toe with Pelosi. She hates me. Greeks are unstoppable. 300 Spartans. Yeah. Maybe it's just 300 spiritual warriors that we can finally, find whatever it is out there. I've helped people all my life. So not feeling the rapture beam me up, Scotty. I agree. Yeah, believe I've had that bad feeling too long, hoping a change will make me feel normal again. Pamela says, trust me, Sherry, while you're digging in your garden, your light frequency is definitely radiating outward. And without those like-minded like you, we could not have come this far. Very good, Pamela. And listen here, Cherry. I live by myself. Very seldom does anybody ever come to my house. I have to go and visit them. Not an issue. And for a long time, I went through this thing that I'm all alone and I'm by myself. And then I realized there are folks like Pamela. Now, I realized this before I started this channel, but I had to realize that first I had to be alone to understand I wasn't alone. And Terry, I don't know if this is this part of your spiritual journey, but I know I had to go through it. And it was kind of painful because I made it painful. I was like, oh, I'm by myself and oh, nobody can. And then I realized, but wait a minute, All these other people who don't agree with me, do they really matter in the long run? No, I got fresh vegetables. You think anybody would drive out here and get some free fresh potatoes out of my garden? No, they're too good for it. Screw them. I'm sorry. Okay, you know, not asking anything. But if you came and visit me, I'd give you some free fresh taters out of the garden. Oh well, it's 15 miles. Never mind. Forget it. Forget it. So apparently, those people that I thought were important really weren't very important in my life. I was struggling to keep them as friends when they didn't give two craps about me. When I realized there are people in the universe on the other side of the planet that care about more about how I'm doing than my own family and relatives. Therefore, I am not alone. I may be alone and separated from those I thought were like friends, family, but in the long run, in the grand scheme of things, Pamela's a better friend. Cherry, you're a better friend than many of my relatives and quote so-called 40-year lifetime friends. You think they'd call me? You think they'd get on a live chat and say just hello, let alone participate or even watch one of my videos? I don't think so. But I realized that the more I became alone, the more I realized I wasn't alone at all, that I conjured it all up in my mind. I needed the response of other people to make myself feel not alone, I guess. And so I would go to great lengths to please other people so that I could feel included. And I actually, it made me feel even worse because I was struggling and they didn't give a shit. Well, he came to me and we put up with him, but he went home and that's fine. Did they call and make sure I got home okay? No. Did they call 2 months later? No. Have they called 5 years later? No. Do they care? No. So why did I put forth the effort? I put forth all the effort to make other people think I had to feel like I was needed. To what end? To what end? I realized I started doing these videos and I realized I am part of the league of like-minded beings. I am part of a greater consciousness. We are part of a greater consciousness. But I mean, in my spiritual journey, I had to realize that, oh my God, there are people like Pamela and Cherry and other folks that right now I can't think of, but on the other side of the planet. And that we have conversation back and forth. And that, I mean, I may never meet you all personally, but I love you nonetheless. I mean, I just cosmic hugs right now, you know? And it's that we are of the league of like-minded beings in this quantum universe. We have understood something that other people still looking at their phones are going to go, what? Quantum, what? Well, did you see the video with the cat? Yeah, quantum, huh? Did you watch this? That's what we're dealing with. And let me put my glasses back on. But Cherry, you are not alone. You're not alone. You are not alone. You can call me anytime. You know, we'll chat on the phone or whatever. But you ain't alone. All right. And if you are, and you need telephone sitting right here, you know. Cherry, you got like-minded beings around you. Just understand that if you're working in your garden, I might be working in my garden, and we're working on the same, maybe not the same vegetable, but we're working for the same thing. We're working with Mother Earth, for Mother Earth, to produce something that's edible, viable, and can be shared. You know, and if you allow the spirits of the garden to come and be with you, that's a whole nother, yeah. Never give up and never surrender. That's like now, I'm almost 67, and I've done more paddling in the last 6 weeks than I have in 3 years. I've gone further at my age than I did as a three years younger man, and I thought in better condition than I did, and I just yesterday again. So it's like, well, wait a minute, but aren't I getting older? Shouldn't I be getting weaker? Shouldn't I be getting, my body's falling apart? Shouldn't I be like, oh my God, I couldn't make it? I choose not to. I choose to change my mind. I choose to allow the universe to be. I, I was in the middle of the swamp, 5 miles from anywhere. And, 5 miles from anywhere when you're in the middle of a swamp is a big deal. Um, and I never felt alone. I was by myself, but I never felt alone, which is kind of like, well, isn't that the same thing? No, I was by myself in my own kayak, but I wasn't alone in the universe. I wasn't alone on the river. I mean, I knew there were animal critters, but I wasn't alone. Fresh taters, yeah. Some of the red ones, yeah. Pamela says, I post your channel in comment sections often. Thank you. And I know I don't pay you to do it, Pamela. Thank you. Applause. Yeah. Yes, I get the feeling that I do the extra effort. I deal with quantum moments. See, there you go. And I've given out my phone number to other people before, but I'm David Null, Moultrie, Georgia. I'm in the phone book, 254 Zion Grove Church Road. Yeah, okay. Look me up, call me up, tell me you are, leave me a message if you want. If you're in the middle of the night and you're having a lonely moment, I might be in the middle of the night having a moment myself. So who knows? But I'm 63. You're a youngin'. I'm 60. I'll be 67 in September. But we're of similar ages. And at 63, I got to admit, is about the time I was going through what you're going uh, through right now about the being alone, the people, blah, 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 Miss Sherry. So it was just a few years ago for myself. So, but I've been there, went through it, understand it, on the other side, looking back going, yes, choose to be healthier too. 7 years ago, I was in a wheelchair and drooling out of both sides of my mouth. And they said I would never be able to do anything again. I wouldn't be able to go boating by myself. I wouldn't be able to do anything by myself. Wheelchair, stupid, drooling, seizures all the time. And I'm talking grand mal seizures. Good, you never feel alone. Good, that's good. But, there were people who had given up on me. And it's like, many of my family, my son, he hasn't talked to me since then. And it's like, I'm not going to get onto him about it, or this ain't about likes or dislikes. But, there were just people who thought, well, that's it. He's just going to waste away. And now these same people, if I say, well, I just spent 6 hours on the river yesterday by myself, paddling upstream into areas that no one else would care to go because I'm that crazy. I'm that adventurous. I'm so used to the swamp. I'm cautious. Don't get me wrong. I'm cautious. But I know the signs. I know my area. Look before you step down. Make sure there ain't no snakes and stuff. Always take a stick with you wherever you go. Just certain things, right? But the idea that some of these people, I know some friends of mine who are my son's age, not to pick on him, but that they couldn't keep up with me. What's that about? Well, because I choose to be healthier. I'm sorry, y'all ain't putting me in the grave. You tried. I got off of all my pharmaceuticals except for my Benadryl and my ibuprofen. I'm off of most everything else. I take a lot of over-the-counter vitamins and things, but am I taking pharmaceutical drugs and painkillers anymore? No. And after yesterday's paddle, I should be like chunking them down, boy. I'm sore. My lower back hurts, and I'm going to have to end this because I got a butt cramp that that won't quit. But the idea, though, that we're getting older and therefore well, we can't get better, we can't get healthier. I say bullshit. I'm already proved that to myself. I don't care if anybody else sees it. To myself, I've proved. I went further yesterday and last week than I have ever gone paddling in my recent 10 years. And now I'm like paddling all over the place. Once a week, I go out 5 miles up, 5 miles back, blah, 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 blah. And I'm sore, but I'm healthy and I'm still alive. And I feel more alive and aware, even though I'm by myself in the swamp. I'm more together with the universe than I feel I've ever been. Now, I would love for somebody to go with me, but that's not the point. For too long, I made the excuse, well, your condition, Hawkeye, you shouldn't really go by yourself. Screw it. If I'm going to die, I could die here at the house and nobody would know for weeks because nobody comes there. If I was to die on the river, at least they'd find my truck and go, whoa, he's somewhere. He's either down or upriver, and he's got a boat. So we should be able to, somebody ought to find him, right? So, but if I'm at home, nobody would ever know that something had happened to me unless somebody came down here and checked on me, which they don't do. But if I go to the river and park my truck and don't come back, somebody's going to see my abandoned vehicle and go, wonder where he went. So I'm actually better off in the swamp than I am at home, in my own house. As far as, would somebody ever find me if something happened to me? From that standpoint. So what all of my, contrarians would tell me, well, Hawkeye, you can't go by yourself. What if something happened? It could happen here at the house. But I got better backup if I go park at the local boat ramp than I do sitting here at home. I'm not scared anymore. Screw them. I went through years of being scared after that wheelchair and Grand Mall seizure incidents. Then I realized it doesn't matter. So what if I fall and break my leg and die in the swamp? I was doing something I liked. If I'm sitting here bitching about it, I can't go anywhere. I'm too old. I'm too feeble. And then God takes me. I'm not going to be a happy mofo when I get to the other side. Which is more happier, to be out doing something that I enjoy? No, trust me, I'm as safe as I can be. A friend of mine came by earlier this morning and goes, did you just go to the river again? I go, yeah. He goes, are you wearing your flotation thingy? And I said, yeah. Even in the middle of the swamp, if the water's only this deep, I still got my PFD on, my personal flotation device. And yes, I'm going to be safe because I fell out of my kayak one time when the log hit it, turned my kayak upside down. I was sitting on on a boat cushion that was supposed to be my life preserver and damn near drowned. So it's like, now I wear them. I don't care what the situation is. I'm going to wear it because stupid stuff happens, no matter how safe you are. So am I safe in the swamp? Absolutely. Now, I could still get tumped over. I could be wearing my flotation device, hit my head, and get pulled under a log. So much for the flotation. That's not the point. When I'm wearing it, I know I'm protection. I know I'm safety conscious. So I'm like, okay, I got this thing, But for other people, it's, well, you went there by yourself. Will you go with me? Well, no, I don't like going in the swamp. Well, then I'm going. But it's this idea, though, that I'm somehow going to die because of it, or all of these other things that I've described, I realized that for every time I went out yesterday morning and said, screw it, I'm going to the river, and went. Saw the sunrise over the water. It was great. And, peaceful, and you get to watch the swamp wake up, oh, man. So, but to the point, though, I don't know. There's nobody going with me. I didn't tell anybody I was going. What if something would have happened? Yeah, I would have sat here and been bored and said, you know what? It was my last good day of spring. It's going to be hotter than crap now. And I should have went. And instead I said, up to the river. Off we go. Last minute. Of course, most of my stuff's already still in the truck. But to the point, though, I didn't let it stop me. And so for everything that I do, I worked in the garden all day Thursday. So I felt like I could go spend some time on the river. I've worked the garden. I got 2 new rows tilled up. I did this. I did that. I worked on the chicken thing and okay, I can go to the river. So I gave myself a reward. Not that I needed it, but that goes along without saying. So I did work and then I rewarded myself. So it's a personal thing. So, hey, wait, I worked good in the garden. Well, I should work good in the garden again. But you know what, though? If I don't take this chance on the river, it's going to get too hot. It's going to be too blah, blah, blah. I went. No regrets. I'm happy I went. Had a great time. What's better than that? I'll work in the garden in the morning. That's how we roll. And of course, at my age and being retired, that's okie dokie. you make me smile too by your hanging out. Um, Weaned off of those things. Yeah, I'm doing better. I know how challenges make us or break us. Along with people with like ideas, nothing compares to fresh from the garden. Yeah, buddy. Okay. Um, no gray hair yet. Well, I got some. It's not as much. I mean, I've got family members who are younger than me that are their hair is totally gray. It's all in the zinc. It is. It really is. It's all in the zinc. Take zinc every day. Yep. Thanks for sharing your challenges in the swamp. I can understand that. Oh, Hawkeye, like me, I know you have at least a couple 100 years to go. A few more hundred, yeah. And I'll probably see 90. I just hope I see 67, like in 3 months. But anyway, I'm on the um, Adirondack Trail. I want to bicycle ride again. I got a bicycle right outside, and I'm trying to get my legs back into it. Um, it's a little hilly here, and it's like, I haven't got my steam up enough yet. Um, yeah, I'm glad I went too. And so, with that said, though, understand that we can have rapturous moments anytime we want them. I mean, like right now, hanging out with you all in itself, laughing, sharing the laughter, I can feel your smiles coming back. In a lot of ways, this is spiritual and it's rapturous because we're all having a good smile and a laugh and it's a positive intent. It's backed with love and kindness from you and from me. So we're sending this back and forth, and I can't think of a better way to like share the universe. If the rest of the idiots want to watch parting hair, fine. That's their business. I'm not suggesting that but at the same point, for those of us who find that that's real, okie dokie, well, let's look at the rest of life as rapturous events that take us to the great beyond, that take us to the great rapture, which could be our death or our resurrection or however you want to look at it. But I would choose to look at every day that there is a rapturous event, a spiritual event, a nirvana, a finding a peace of mind within myself every day, especially if I've looked for it, especially if I continue to be aware. So I love you all. I'll give the, wait, I'll give it a try. I went from brunette to white overnight after the accident. Well, now that's separate. But to the point, Pamela, I learned years ago that I was asking. I've been to a bunch of doctors in my lifetime, and this one particular doctor, he was like, "Listen," he knew I was into medicinal and types of stuff because I talked to him about it, and he told me, he said, "Listen, people aren't going to tell you this," and I'd had 3 operations on my neck where they tried to fuse me together. The last one didn't take. The third one, anyway. But he said zinc. He goes, people won't tell you. He said, but zinc will help with your hair. Zinc will help with your this. And he goes, zinc. Make sure you have a little bit of zinc in your diet every day. And he goes, it's good for your prostate and blah, 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 blah. Well, now that was 20 years ago, okay, or 30 almost, and 25. Anyway, so now I take stuff for my prostate. Guess what it's called? Eurozinc. So zinc and all these other different things are still good for the prostate. He was right 25 years ago. And he wasn't trying to tell me about that. He was trying to tell me about healing my bones, and that by doing so would also keep my hair from going gray as quickly. Well, it's 60, almost 67. I'm not too bad. My beard's been gray for a while, but hey. But so for some people that are 55 and they're already it's no big. I don't care if my hair is gray or not. But there are folks that go, well, how come your hair's not gray? But I take zinc on a regular basis. There you go. Cosmic hugs, everybody. If you know what this means, you're working for the cause. I love you all. I do. Keep looking out for those spiritual things every single day of your life. Terry, if you're still there, have a great night. Pamela, as always, have a great night. Have a great day. Have a great tomorrow. And anybody and everybody else that may be watching, I do love you all. And I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept and receive the gifts, the teaching, the knowledge, and the healing from the universe that's always there. Every single day, all the time, it's always there. It's always, that quantum is always around us. Just accept it and receive it. I continue to pray that each and every one of you will continue to accept and receive these blessings, and that you will share these blessings with other people, as I know Pamela, Cherry, and other people do. I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, your relatives, and all of your relations, past and present, will understand and receive these gifts and these blessings as well. Thank you all. Have a wonderful Sunday. I hope you, and there's only one way to get better, and that's to push yourself a little bit. So from South Georgia, almost full moon. Tomorrow night's full moon. TTFN. I'm Hawkeye Two Feathers. Thank you, Pamela, Cherry, and the rest of you. Blessings to all of you. Stay safe, stay kind, be compassionate, and above all, remember that love is all around us all the time. Take care. TTFN, ta ta for down. From South Georgia,